there, gorgeous people, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Patrice, and today, baby, do I have some good, juicy Reddit stories for y'all. Some of these people, you know, they need a little Jesus. Some of them are straight up just trash, all right? Which is why we got the trash can earrings today. We on theme, people. We are on theme, all right? So let's jump right into it. So this first story comes from r/am I the jerk? Am I the jerk for canceling a family holiday at my house after my dad said he was bringing his new partner and we all had to accept it instantly? All right. I, 28 female, offered to host our big family holiday this year for the first time. Usually it is at my parents' place, but my mom moved out last year when my parents separated and the house is smaller now. I have a decent sized apartment, a dog, and actually like cooking, so I thought it would be nice to have everyone over and also take some emotional load off my mom. When I first floated the idea in our family group chat, everyone sounded excited, including my dad. The only thing I asked was that we keep it relatively small because I do not have unlimited chairs or dishes and I get overwhelmed easily with a ton of people crammed into my living room. So the plan was Dad, my siblings, their partners and kids, and my grandma. We set the date, shared menu ideas. I started buying decorations and making lists like a nerd. For context, my parents' separation is still pretty fresh. They split officially 10 months ago after a long time of my dad having friendships that were obviously more than that. Mom finally had enough and moved into a condo. Dad has been hinting he is seeing someone but refused to give any details, said it was too soon for us to meet her and that he wanted us to respect his privacy. Fine. His life. I was honestly relieved to just have a calm holiday where everyone could focus on food and kids instead of divorce drama. Then, about 2 weeks before the holiday, Dad calls me and basically announces, not asked, that he will be bringing his new partner, Lena. He adds that he expects everyone to be welcoming and that he does not want any attitude or sulking kids. I said I was surprised because he had made a big deal about privacy and also that mom will be there and it might be a lot for her to sit in my tiny living room with his new girlfriend like nothing happened. He cuts me off and says that he is tired of walking on eggshells around us, that he deserves happiness and that if mom chooses to feel awkward, that is her problem. Then he says something like, if you are hosting, you host all of me, including my partner. If you cannot do that, I will remember it. I told him I was not comfortable being the stage of his grand reveal, especially when he refuses to even have a real conversation first. I suggested he either talk to mom and my siblings first, or we keep this holiday just immediate family and he introduces Lena another time. He doubled down, said I was being controlling and disrespectful, and repeated that he was bringing her and we all need to accept it instantly. No compromise. After that call, I just sat there shaking. I kept imagining my mom trying to make small talk while Dad acts like a teenager with a new crush. The more I thought about it, the more I felt like I was being forced into choosing a side or pretending years of hurt never happened inside my own home that I was supposed to feel safe in. So the next day I texted the family chat and said that I was canceling hosting. I told them I love them, but I was not up for managing the tension, that maybe it is better if everyone did their own plans this year. My mom immediately called and said she understood completely and would just spend the day with a friend. My siblings were disappointed, but mostly to our parents in general, not me. My dad, on the other hand, absolutely lost it. He said I was punishing him for moving on, accused me of siding with my mom, and even hinted that I was being ungrateful because he helped with my college and with the down payment on my place years ago. He keeps texting that I have ruined the family holiday and that all I had to do was be polite to his partner for a few hours. One of my aunts chimed in that I should have hosted anyways and not made it about the divorce. I feel guilty because I know my siblings were looking forward to everyone being together and I did pull the plug. But at the same time, I feel like my boundaries got bulldozed the moment Dad turned my home into a test of loyalty. Okay, OP, you are not the jerk. Your father is. And it always gets weird when it comes to like divorce and separation, when it comes to the kids and all that stuff. I mean, you guys are grown and everything, but still, like, your parents, you're so used to your parents being together for so many years, and then 10 months fresh, 10 months, you know that he had this lady on the side, because 10 months in, and he's like, well, I need y'all to accept my new boo. Now, for him, the relationship is not fresh because it seems like it's been happening for a while. But for you guys, this is new. And also for mom, like, he doesn't care. He really doesn't care. Your mom needs to suck it up and be okay with my new boo. Because what's crazy is that if it was reversed and your mom had a boo and he had nobody, he would not want to be there. He would not want to be at no family dinner with no new man. He is doing it just because he knows mom has not moved on and all the things, and he just wants to flaunt it in her face. Now, when it comes to the siblings being upset, they could have hosted. Somebody else could have hosted. When you turned it down, why didn't they host? It's not like it's only your host that is available. They could take up the hosting duties, but nobody wants to take that up, and they want you to suck it up and be the person to, keep the peace. And, no. You are not the jerk. Enjoy it by yourself or with family, or if your brothers and sisters want to come over and y'all have like a potluck type deal, cool. You said you like to cook, whatever. Just say, hey, y'all want to have a little sibling Christmas? Or just go have Christmas with your mom. It's fine. Let dad and his new girl, let them cook and have their own. Or go to a restaurant or something. You're not the jerk in this one. And dad sounds controlling and manipulative, because why now is he like, after you're like, oh, I am not hosting because I really don't want this tension. I don't want this problem. He's like, oh, I sent you to college. Yeah, you are my dad. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? I'm just saying. As a parent, yeah, and it's very nice that he helped you with the down payment, but you're not going to throw that back in my face because you're not getting what you want. The father sounds terrible. Let's see what Reddit has to say. You handle it good. For comparison, I would have just point blank told the dad, you aren't pulling that no after the plans have been made. This is not the time or place to introduce her, and if you insist on bringing her, you will be refused entry. End of discussion. I would have stated that in duplicate, point blank, in the chat. Someone else said, he wanted to hurt the mom. Bingo. That was his goal. He cheated for years. She finally got tired of his BS and left. And now he wants to punish her and make her feel bad. It's childish and selfish. And he has basically set his new girlfriend up always to be disliked by his kids no matter what. I wouldn't want to spend any holidays with him for the foreseeable future, since he's so hell-bent on hurting his family and ex-wife when they are still processing the separation. Right? Someone else says, he thought he was going to show the new girlfriend that he's still Big Daddy-O in charge of the family. Now he has to explain that his entire family would rather cancel than put up with his demands. That is a good view. I like that. Someone else says, absolutely, this indeed. Personally, I would have disinvited my father and still enjoyed a family gathering. What an ass he is being. Terrible. All right, so the next story comes from r/what do I do? And this one is titled, is my husband's secret sexual life worth breaking up my family? Girl, what? You know what? Before I start judging, let me read it. I, 25 female, have been with my husband, 22 male, for 2 years. We started off as super close friends. I love to be around him. He makes being me so easy. I feel like I have shared every layer of who I am with him. He is sweet. He has brought me gifts. He consoles me when I'm sad. He's goofy and handsome and kind-hearted, and I love him so much. I recently had his child 7 weeks ago, and he showed up and supported me and took care of me like I would have never expected someone to. But there has always been a conflicting situation in the background that feels like it's driving me insane. About 9 months into our relationship, I got the courage to go through his phone one night. What I saw shocked me. He had been using Reddit to talk to hundreds of people during the duration of our relationship. Not just women, but men. And he does it as acting as a trans woman. Not only was he talking to them, but he was meeting with them and having sex with them. I saw videos of him having sex with men, giving them oral, and also being with different couples. This sounds fake. I don't know why, but it's so, let me continue to read. That being said, I confronted him and we almost separated. I didn't really address the fact that he was acting as trans and having sex with men. I was more hurt and shocked that someone I have had such respect for and trusted so much would do something like this to me. When all was said and done, I felt like he deserved another chance. He changed his password to match mine. He shared his location. He was really trying to make me feel like I could trust him again. Okay. This went on for months. One day I tried to go through his phone and the password was changed. I got worried and asked him to open it. He got so upset. He told me he just wished that I would trust him because he had a surprise for me. I pushed and pushed till finally he told me that he was picking an engagement ring and didn't want me to see. I felt bad and I left the phone alone. A couple of weeks later, I find that he did not have pictures of an engagement ring, but rather pictures of him as a woman and him having intercourse with men while I was asleep, and he would go to the parking lot and do it in the car or in our apartment while I was at work. This time we talked more. Of course, I am extremely hurt, and this time I left. We got into a huge fight. A day or two later, I found out I am pregnant and end up staying. Again, at 3 weeks, I find the same things on his phone. I miscarried our baby, and it put me into a depression state. We stayed together. This is either fake or you are really less than smart. I don't really like to call people this word, but I'm just saying. Okay. Finally, months passed. It has been about 9 months. I've gone through his phone multiple times and I find nothing. I got pregnant again in that time. Why? I finally trusted him again. I felt happy again. I was pregnant with our beautiful daughter. We got married. We felt more connected than ever. I was on top of the world. Then at one point, at my OB appointment, I got told I had chlamydia. Obviously, I had gotten it from him since I didn't have intercourse with anyone else, but I didn't know when I got it, and it could have been from before. I had no symptoms and neither did he. I let it pass. Since I had still found nothing on his phone. You let a whole STD pass. Okay. Another 2 months passed and now I'm 8 months pregnant. One night I decided to take a look and I find videos of him with some girl. I go down the rabbit hole and he is doing the whole thing again. He dresses as a trans woman and has, well, to be fair, he doesn't dress as a trans woman. He just dresses like a woman. Wow. Where am I? Okay. I go down the rabbit hole and he is doing the whole thing again. He dresses as a trans woman and has sex with men or couples. I read the messages he shared with them, calling them pet names, videos of him with toys, him wearing dresses and using one of my purses, even one of my dresses, and all of this was going on for a majority of the time that I thought it wasn't. So basically, the entire 2 years we have been together, minus a couple of months, he's been living this secret life. I have begged and cried for him to stop, and he always promises he will, but never does. I have expressed curiosity about him dressing like a trans, and he wouldn't tell me why he does it or admit that it's because he likes men. He just says he's sexually flexible. We have amazing sex about 3 to 5 times a week. I love him. I married him. I gave birth to his beautiful daughter, and I built my life around our family. He's my best friend. I live in a city where I have no one but him, because his family lives here and mine lives 7 hours away. I don't want to leave him. I love him beyond words, but I'm so hurt. He still does it now, despite the times that I've begged him not to, and he just keeps his phone locked, and we just try and act like nothing is happening, but I am obsessed with him. I think about it 10 times a day. How could he keep continually doing this to me if he really loves me? Am I his cover-up wife? He swears he doesn't want to be a woman for his everyday life, but that he's just open-minded in the bedroom. He asked if I would swing with him, and we tried it with a single male together, and it wasn't my thing. He is really into the swinging lifestyle, and I feel so much pressure to do that with him. I just don't know what to do now. We have a 6-week-old daughter. I'm not working. We live together. I love him beyond words. But what if I'm living a fake life and he doesn't really love me? He's my best friend and the father of my kid. I don't know why I feel like this is fake. This has to be fake because you cannot be that dumb. Okay? Because first, at the top of this, you said, I recently had his child 7 weeks ago, right? And then down to the bottom, you said that we have a 6-week-old daughter. I don't know. I really want to think this is fake. I really want to think this is a fake thing. You know, people they put it in AI and they have some prompts and then AI gives them a story and they post it already. Because I really, really don't want to believe that this is real. But the thing is, some of these sentences, when I was reading them, are very run-on sentences, and AI is very good at punctuations and all the things and not making it. You know, it's perfectly written when AI does it. So so there are parts in this where I'm like, maybe it's not AI because some of the sentences are a little run-on-y, okay? Yeah. But, girl, if this is real, you are very less than smart, okay? Just a whole lot. No, you barely know this man because you said, let's see. I, 25 female, I've been with my husband, 22 male, for 2 years. So in 2 years, y'all had a baby, got married, and in those 2 years, this man cheated on you since the beginning to the end. With male, female, everybody under the sun. This man likes dressing up and all the things. Girl, I need you to go to church. Seek Jesus. No, some people, you know, that might not be your belief, but I feel like you know what? Let me see what Reddit has to say, because I have nothing. I promise you I have nothing. He said this man give you a STD and you still love him. While you're sleeping, he's in the parking lot and in the apartment with other people, and you still all right. All right, someone says Reddit has lost the plot. The fact that you're still with him, although I can't believe this is even true or something you have to ask advice for, is insane. Someone says and had got pregnant by him twice. What in the world is wrong with people? Someone says Reddit truly has lost the plot. Y'all still believe stories like these. See, somebody else believes that it's not true. Husband loves sex with everyone else, gives me STI. He's a good man. Help internet. What should I do? So this has to be fake. If not, OP, you're an idiot. For real. Oh, somebody else says can't be true. She's very stupid. I didn't want to say that, but yeah. Someone else says, great way to end up with AIDS. That's true. Someone else says, if this is real, you gotta end it. That's a complete betrayal beyond ridiculous. They will never, ever, 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 ever get over this. That's all I got. That's all I got. So the next story is from r/true off my chest. I started matching his effort and he accused me of cheating. Without getting into all the background, H and I have been together for 20 years and have 2 kids. A few years ago, I felt our relationship was dying. We were past the toddler stage and I tried everything I could think of to get it back. I communicated clearly, patiently, and consistently. He kept saying we were so happy, but truthfully, he was happy because I was going to great lengths to make him feel loved and appreciated and nurtured our relationship, and he was doing nothing in return. I tried everything I could think of, and he'd just say, doing X isn't really my thing. I also tried to get him to take care of his mental and physical health, encourage him to eat well, do physical activity with me and the kids, spend time with friends, etc. I shared TikToks about relationships since he was obsessed with the app. Always plan dates. Made sure when sitters were hard to get, I'd plan an activity at home or lunch on a work day so we were still connecting. Eventually, we had a pretty big blow up and I told him I needed to see some effort. He told me that I was being too needy and he didn't need me to do any of the stuff that I was being dramatic. I realized that it was the lack of any sort of reciprocation from him that was upsetting me, so I decided from then on I was going to match his level of effort. If he wouldn't do small gestures to show affection, neither would I. This was all about 1.5 years ago. While I didn't drop off all effort immediately, I found a new balance for myself. Instead of the effort I was pouring into the relationship, I found new hobbies, strengthened other relationships, focused on my own physical and mental health, and I've been doing well. I am still a working mom, so it's not like I'm out late partying or anything, but usually go out for a few hours a couple days a week after the kids are in bed, or relationship and intimacy both faded, so basically zero. But I just figured that in this season of life, he was an exhausted working dad and didn't want any of that anyways. Last week was his birthday. I had the kids sing and told him he could order whatever he wanted for dinner. Old me would have made a big deal. Thoughtful gift, special cake, home cooked meal, and followed up with sending the kids for a sleepover overnight on the weekend and gone all out with romance and lingerie. I know it's lingerie. But I was matching his effort. Anyways, on Sunday, he flipped out because apparently he was waiting to see if I had a surprise plan for him and realized I didn't. And then he accused me of cheating. Apparently, I was showing all the classic signs of cheating by focusing on myself, not asking him for dates, not initiating intimacy, getting fit, and showing sudden unexplained change in behavior. He was also checking my sex toys to see when they moved as proof I still had a sex drive, and checking for new underwear, which of course I still have a sex drive, and of course I replace my underwear regularly. I wasn't buying anything sexy, just the same comfy styles I've always worn. I actually laughed at first when he accused me because the absolute absurdity that I'd want another man to make me feel like ish in the midst of trying to work and raise little humans. But no, that is simmered for a few days. I'm so angry. First, that he's capable of researching and paying attention to the relationship only when it's negative. Second, that he violated my privacy by looking at my underwear and toys. But mostly because it was clearly all a lie. He did need a relationship and to feel loved and desired and just didn't want to do any of the work and preferred make me feel crazy rather than to put his phone down and engage with me. And now I just feel like he doesn't really like me or want me to be happy. I think this might be it for us. Edit. He believed that I'm not cheating, and I pointed out I was treating him exactly as he treated me, and he backtracked hard. I just don't think I want to move forward. Oh. Now, while I'm someone who doesn't promote divorce, because you know what? 20 years is a lot of years, 20 years is a lot of years to put into a relationship. And I can understand hitting that wall where, you have to try a little harder. Everything is nice and shiny and new in the beginning. And then you add kids to the mix and work and all the things. You have to put in that work. And unfortunately, a lot of men just don't feel like they need to do all that. And then it comes down to, the woman has to put in the work. I feel OP on that one. Like, she's just tired. Like, I'm doing all of this and then you just do nothing. You just enjoy all of OP's hard work, right? No, I really don't get it, but it's just life. I understand it, but I wouldn't say to jump to divorce. Maybe try counseling if he wants to try that, because you didn't cheat. You just, poured your energy into other things, hobbies and things like that. So clearly you still love and respect the man. He, on the other hand, I don't know. But if you guys can try counseling and, work through that, I think it would be best, because 20 years is a lot to just give up like that, especially if nobody's cheating, there's no abuse or anything like that. I think you can work on it. But let us see what Reddit has to say. Okay, let us see what Reddit has to say. I would also say that he told you he didn't need the effort and you were made to feel needy. So now you have refocused that energy to yourself. Yeah. He believes me. So this is OP. He believes me that I wasn't cheating now and understands what happened. I brought up all our past convos and how I did the same thing for his birthday as he did for mine. And he put the same energy into our day as him. I kind of think he believed all the stuff I did for us was just who I was as a person, not that I consciously was working on our relationship. Someone else says, when you told him all this, did he have the decency to feel shame or did he double down? OP said, I wouldn't say he felt shame. He cried a lot and apologized, but he also reiterated, I'm not good at that stuff. Like, no one is inherently good at that stuff. It takes constant effort. I never expected him to be a mind reader. I would literally say things like, X is important to me, or if you don't enjoy a certain thing, what ideas do you have that we could do together? He said he'll change, but he obviously won't. I did say you can't have both. I'll come meet you halfway and have been willing this whole time. He tried to play it off that he couldn't initiate or plan dates because I was acting disinterested in him. So I don't think he's really ready to take accountability. Oh, that's sad. Someone else says, or replying to that, I'm just not good at that stuff. What a major cop out. I can't do it. You have to do it. What a prick. Someone else says, when my husband told me he just can't cook, I said, figure it out because I don't want to eat fast food whenever I don't feel like cooking, which always take at least an hour per meal. So 3 to 6 hours a day cooking, laugh out loud. He ordered one of those HelloFresh dinner kits and teaches you how to cook, and now he's actually an amazing cook. Cop out for sure. Yeah. Yeah, the husband, he doesn't want to try. Just being lazy and complacent and all the things. But guess what, people? We have an update, okay? Now, the update says, I posted previously about our situation, and people were right. I checked out of the relationship completely, but I didn't feel like I was safe and had time to get my ducks in a row. Contacted lawyers, etc., etc. I just can't go back to loving someone who can't even show me basic kindness. Last night, I was crocheting downstairs and listening to an audiobook on earbuds and working on Xmas gifts or Christmas gifts. My husband came storming down asking why I wasn't answering him when he was trying to talk to me. I picked up my phone and hit pause to stop the book and took the earbuds out, and he completely lost it, asking why I grabbed my phone when he came down, but he gave me zero space to answer, screaming at me, saying everything he does is wrong, and then he punched the wall hard. Ooh, whoa. And then he punched the wall hard enough to damage it. Oh my God. I told him to get out and he refused. I went and locked myself in the bathroom near the children's bedroom and called his parents and told them what was happening and they needed to come get him. My kids were sleeping and I didn't want to wake them up if it was necessary, but I could have called 911 and grabbed them if I felt it was needed. He tried to justify his behavior to his parents when they got here and say I was making a huge deal over nothing, and thankfully they were having none of it. He's gone to their house now. I spoke with him this morning and he is blaming his anxiety. He's on anxiety meds and has been almost our whole relationship, but there's been times I've had to forcefully push him to get med adjustment and counseling. I've changed the codes to our front door and we have those burglar proof locks as well. And I'm not super worried about him trying to break in or anything. I hope he deals with things and heals for his children. But I'm also very relieved that he's out of my house right now and getting a third party to tell him how insane his behavior is instead of me, since I'm so dramatic. I'm incredibly fortunate that I have a good income and a flexible job, so I can take some time off this week to speak with lawyers about next steps, what to document, etc. As much as this sucks, I am aware there are lots of women who are unable to leave due to lack of family support, employment, etc. Well, that escalated quickly. Whoa. It went from he's not interested in planning any dates, so I'm matching his energy, to now he's like mad and punching walls. Oh, yep, leave, girl. Yep, just leave. Just quietly step right through, right on out. I have nothing else to say. Let us see what other people have to say. Calling his parents his boss. I know it sucked, but try to find the pride in that act. OP said, I felt like it was either that or 911. I didn't want to call my own parents and have my 70-something father trying to throw hands. Parents was a good call for now, but next time call the police. Tell his parents that he got his one chance when he called them instead of the police, but next time you are calling the cops and that they need to get him to the doctor to get his anxiety under control. Also, when you talk to lawyers, ask about what they can put in regarding him needing his anxiety under control in order to have unsupervised access to your kids, citing his ability to lose his temper and punch walls. Crazy. One more person said, you did the right thing calling for backup. You need to make it an absolute condition of any type of return that he gets completely checked out by his doctor and change anxiety medication, or even any type of shared custody with the kids if you should split. And if possible, you should talk to his doctor too, to give the doctor additional non-point of view perspective, as your husband may downplay how bad things are. It is known that anxiety medications can potentially cause side effects including agitation, emotional blunting, mania, and psychosis, which in some cases may lead to aggressive or violent behaviors. And switching medications can make a world of difference. So Opie says he's forgotten his meds before when we've gone on vacations for a few days or forgotten to refill them, and I can tell immediately because he's like a different person, screaming at everyone, exploding. He doesn't see it himself. I think this is more like he needs an increase and not a reaction to his current meds. And maybe he needs to try or a new med in the hospital, but I don't want to try and figure this out near my children when he's going to minimize his behavior rather than recognize the severity. The craziest part was that when his parents arrived, he was just sitting watching TV like nothing happened and was shocked they were there and immediately started downplaying it. Like people fight sometimes. You don't need to come. That is exhausting. It sounds exhausting. But OP, good on you. He's not in your home right now and you're taking the steps to make sure you and your children are good. That's all I got. The next story comes from r/marriage, okay? This one says, my wife found the back of an earring in our house and now she thinks I'm cheating. I am not and legitimately don't have any idea how the earring piece got there. What should I do? All right. Yesterday morning, while she was leaving for work, my 40 male, wife 44 female, stepped on something on an area rug in the basement of our house. It turned out it to be the back of an earring, specifically bullet clutch style with a clear plastic stabilizing disc. This is very strange because she doesn't wear earrings and we don't have people over to our house often. She called me to ask about it after she got to work, and I was just as confused as she was. She was, understandably, a bit skeptical at first. For the record, I have not cheated on her, so the earring back being on the floor in the room makes no sense unless it somehow got tracked in on a shoe or something. Which makes sense, yeah. She asked me directly if I had someone over to cheat on her, and I tried my best to assure her that I would never even think about cheating on her. I have been cheated on before in past relationships, and I would never do that to someone. I've never understood it, and I've said time and time again that people should just end things rather than cheat on their partner. I honestly don't want anyone other than my wife. I don't even think about it. She's the perfect person for me, and I feel so lucky and happy to be married to her. I'd never do anything to jeopardize what we have together. My wife has at least outwardly been trying to accept that I don't know anything about how the earring piece ended up in our house. However, last night and this morning, she has continued to make passive-aggressive comments as jokes about me possibly cheating on her. She's been saying things like, should we cook enough for your girlfriend too? Or I bet you also say that to your girlfriend, etc. She's trying to mostly play them off as jokes, but I feel the undertone of doubt in them and it's frustrating. I've been trying to laugh them off as well, but it's making me sad. It almost feels like she's trying to test me in the hopes that I mess up and say something about an affair that doesn't exist. I don't know how to best help her feel okay about this other than her just trusting me at my word. I think she does in the end, but it makes me sad that this thing somehow got into our house and that she even has to have any doubt in the back of her mind because I've never even considered cheating on her. One interesting thing to note is that we do have a number of indoor Wise cameras that are always recording. They retain about 1 week of continuous footage on their micro SD cards. I have the camera in the attached garage in the room next to where the earring was found, set to record all motion events. The camera in the room where the earring was found does not specifically record motion events. The area where the earring back was found is clear in the frame of the camera, and I copied all the footage to my computer to back it up before it overrides itself. I started to review the footage, but unfortunately, the quality isn't good enough to clearly show the earring piece sitting on the area rug before it was picked up. However, I did see that my wife vacuumed the entire area rug the 30th of November. This means that the earring piece should have been deposited on the rug between then and the morning of December 4th. I'm planning on trying to go through the footage in more detail to pinpoint when it may have appeared, but I'm worried that the quality won't be high enough to do this. I'm worried about this approach without a definitive video clip or of the earring piece being deposited on the rug because I work in tech and I could see her wondering if I somehow manipulated the footage, even though it is all timestamped. Either way, there is continuous video evidence that nobody other than the two of us and our 2 cats were in that room between when she vacuumed and when she found the back of the earring. What would you do in my situation? I don't think there's much you can do. You said there is video evidence of nobody coming in and out between the time it was deposited and when she found it. Plus, she had vacuumed the entire area rug, so the vacuum should have picked that up. You said there's a possibility it came in on someone's shoe. There's also a possibility if you had anything delivered. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the delivery person, it might have been theirs, or it got caught in, you know, a bag or a box or something. That might have been how it got in there, but I that's weird. And the other weird part about it too for me is that it's on an area rug. Usually an area rug is not like a whole carpeted area, and usually you don't really walk on the area rug, especially with your shoes. At least in my house, you don't. So I don't know. But my other thing too, it could be that she's testing you. Okay? She could have placed it there. I'm just saying. She could have dropped it there, probably feeling insecure somehow, and she dropped it there and tried to test you, saying, you know, if she said, hey, I found the back of this earring when I was leaving for work today, you might have been, you know, liable, or not liable, but you probably have, you know, oh my God, and said something. Yeah, she's trying to test you, in my opinion. That's probably one other way to look at it. She put it there and said, hey, I found this. You're cheating on me, and you probably be like, oh my God, she caught me, and then you probably like confess to something. It probably is something like that, but then you're like, bro, I'm not cheating, and I think she's just pushing to see that if you'll break and admit to something. But yeah, I think you should just leave it alone. Don't try to force it where you're like, oh, I went through the footage, I did this, I did that, and just let it be. You're not cheating. She'll be fine. If not, and she wants to dig more, let that be on her. I just don't think you should put too much effort into it, because again, you said that she might think you manipulated the footage because you work in IT and stuff. Just let it be. You're not cheating. There's nothing for her to find, and eventually it's gonna get old when she makes reference to the girlfriend or something like that. And yeah, I think that's the way I would go about it. But let's see what Reddit says. It probably got stuck to someone's shoe. What does she think? You bones some other broad in the basement? Oh, Lord. Opie says, I think that's where her mind is going. But the thought of that just seems so ridiculous to me. Somebody else says, if you have cameras all over, how'd she even get in? I would have a calm talk with her that the jokes are upsetting you, and you take trust seriously, and she needs to stop. If she actually doubts, then it needs to be a discussion. Makes sense. Yeah, the cameras would be enough for me, but the comments haven't stopped. If they continue after a little longer, I'll start a calm discussion about them and whether or not there are actual doubts. It makes me worried that I'm doing something else aside from the situation that is giving her doubts that she hasn't told me about. Okay. That could have been something. You're giving her doubts, so she probably planted the earring back just to see. Okay. Someone else says, I genuinely think that this is a defense mechanism. I am speaking from my point of view here, so you may find this useful or not, but I definitely use humor as a defense mechanism. If I was your wife, in your wife's shoe, I could see me making the same jokes as a way of trying to lift me out of the suspicious funk, or even just a way to prompt you to give me some reassurance. Our brains are funky places, and if the intimacy has decreased in your marriage and this is playing on her mind, no matter how irrational, I can see why she is making the little comments and even understand why. I don't think they are point daggers at you, though. It is 100% about insecurities, and that she might not even fully be recognizing. I think a brief conversation will work wonders. I would never do this. It hurts me to think that you would ever consider that I would, because I think it's important for your feelings to be acknowledged here. And how can we connect even if the way we are intimate has to change for a while? OP said, thanks for your advice. This makes a lot of sense. I'll find a way to have that brief conversation in a natural way soon. All right. I hope everything works out for you, OP. Yeah. All right, so the last story comes from r/comfort level pod. All right, this one says, am I the a-hole for planning to give my ex-wife a huge chunk of my lottery winnings, even though my current partner is threatening to leave? All right. I won the lottery recently. Not like a few thousand, millions. Life-changing money for me and my family. My ex-wife is the mother of my 2 kids. She's genuinely one of the best people I know. We divorced several years ago because I cheated on her with my current partner. I was in a bad place mentally and completely messed up. She was destroyed by it, obviously, but she still let me see our kids, who are everything to me. Made the divorce as smooth as possible, even though I know she was hurting badly. She's still close to my parents. She's respectful to me, but she won't speak to my current partner at all, which I understand. When I found out I won, I called my parents first, then her. She was happy for me, joked that I could take the kids on a trip around the world. That was it, nothing more. But as soon as I won, I knew I wanted to give her a significant amount. I still love her. Not in love with her, but I love her. She's the mother of my children, and this feels like some tiny way to show her I'm not a complete piece of ish. That I care about her despite what I did. She works at the public library making barely anything. This money would let her actually pursue things she cares about. Give our kids a better life when they're with her. I haven't told her yet, but I talked to my parents who strongly agree and my lawyer who was surprised but supportive. When I told my current partner, she lost it, screaming that I'm disrespecting her, accusing me of still being in love with my ex. I am not in love with my ex. We've both moved on, but yeah, I still love her for being an incredible co-parent and mother. My current partner is threatening to break up with me over this. Honestly, I feel relieved when she says that. I'm not changing my plans, but now I'm wondering if I'm wrong here. Am I the a-hole? Nah. Nah, brother. Listen, you are a good person to actually think of, you win some money. You could be selfish with it, keep all the money, try to get the kids, all the things. Ex-wife has no, claim to your funds. You guys have been divorced. And she seems just like a genuine person, as you said, great co-parenting and everything. And you want to set her up as the mother of your children. You want to make sure she's good. Y'all, broke up on bad terms because you cheated. You said you were in a bad place mentally, etc., etc. So I don't think you're the a-hole for that. I actually applaud you for actually thinking about your ex in this situation. And you say, you still love her. You're not in love with her. And I can understand that. And you want to make sure that she's good. So you're not the a-hole. No. As for the current girlfriend, you said you broke up several years ago and you have not married her. You said it's just your partner. So there's something there. Like, I don't know. Okay, you cheated with her, but you still didn't marry her. She has no claims to any of the money. So even if she leaves, she won't get anything because she's not a wife. And she's not going anywhere. She's threatening and trying to give you the ultimatum, right? But she's not going anywhere. You come into millions and that's when she gonna leave? Sir, no. And then the fact that you're relieved when she says she's threatening to leave. I think you don't love this woman. You don't care for this woman. I think she, both of you cheated and, messed up your family, broke up your happy home. And then I feel like you just think that you should still just be with her out of whatever. I don't know, guilt. I don't know what it is and why you're sticking with her. But I don't think she's going to leave and go anywhere. When no, she can live a millionaire girlfriend lifestyle. Nah. And she's very selfish because you can see she resents your wife, ex-wife, and children. Like, why wouldn't you want to make sure that your kids are set? The mother of your kids are set. Like, she's hateful. I don't get it. But let's see what Reddit has to say. Break up with the partner. That sense of relief in your gut is screaming at you. Give the mother of your kids the money you want to. Yep. Someone said the gut feeling is telling him to run as fast as he can. Yup. He better triple up on protection because by girlfriend's reaction, I can see a baby trap in the future. Ooh, clock it, as the young people say. Seriously, he's going to need a crowbar to get rid of the partner, considering the gravy train just rolled in. For real. She's not going anywhere. She's just threatening to see what you would do. And the fact that you're still going to give the money to your ex-wife, she ain't going nowhere. She's just going to be mad and stay mad. And the other thing too, though, I understand she's your partner and you want to discuss it with her, but you didn't have to tell her either. That's another thing she should take into consideration. You could have given your ex-wife the money and that would have been that. that's that. Like, you did not have to tell her, so I don't know what it is or what her problem is. But yeah, that is it for today's episode, today's video. So I'll see you in the next one. Like, share, subscribe, all the good things so you can see my face next time. All right, later. Bye.